Hello, everybody, and welcome to Max Tutorials. We're going to talk about percent increase and percent decrease. This one can be a little more confusing. It's not as straightforward, so I'm going to go nice and slow and help you out with some of these word problems, which I know you all love and cherish so dearly. Before I go there, though, I just want to remind you about this website, maxtutorials.com. You can find lots of videos, first of all, in the playlist from this YouTube video, but also here, everything's very organized, and I have these PDFs you can download of worksheets, and you can work these along right aside with me, or you could try them on your own after doing a couple of them, and then you can watch me work through, and you can see how you did on it, okay? And then, of course, if you can always like and subscribe these things, that does help me out quite a bit. So this is version 8. This is the first version out of, 3 different versions I'm going to do. So let's talk about this. Before we start, I'll just refer to my video that I did. Whenever you work with percent increase and percent decrease, you always start with the original price of something. Then you're going to add or subtract whatever now you want the percent increase, right? So what you have to do is you have to take the original price, and now you're going to multiply it by whatever percentage they're asking, okay? And that's going to equal the final price, okay? After it was increased or decreased. So the best way to do is just to do some. A jacket costs $40. It starts there, and then after it's $40, it's marked down to 30. Okay, so if we look at this formula right here, the 40 would be the original, and the 30 would be the final. What we don't know is we don't know what the percent increase or decrease is. So the way I set this up is I'm going to go 40, okay, and it's marked down, which means we're going to subtract. We're going to subtract what? I don't know, whatever the x, but here's the trick. Here's the part people forget. It's $40 times that percentage. Okay, and that's going to equal our final, which is 30. So right there, putting that 40 back in is the part that people usually mess up. So be very careful on that. Now, I'm going to subtract 40 from both sides, and that's going to give me negative 40x equals a negative 10. And once I divide that negative 40, x equals, well, that's 1/4, or it's going to be a 0.25 is going to be your answer when you plug that into a calculator. Now, 0.25 is great, but what they want is they want what's the percent. So you have to express your answer in terms of a percent. This is the math answer right here. But the word problem answer, you would write down 25%. Okay, because you want to say it as a percent. All right, let's do a few more. A population increases from 500 to 650. So 500 is the original, 650 is the final. We want to know the percent increase. So it increased, so we're going to add, and we're going to take the 500 times whatever that percent is, which we don't know what that is. So now to solve it, I'm going to subtract 500 from both sides. Boom, die, and I get 500x equals 150. Now, once I do that, this I'm going to put in my handy dandy calculator, okay? So I've got my calculator on the side. I don't have it on the screen just because, I don't know, I don't jump back and forth quick enough. Probably somebody, younger and smarter than me can do it. Look, I even have an undo right there. Can you even believe that? Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go 150, and I'm going to divide by 500, and I hit something. I hit times. So 150 divided by 500. Oh, that was just brutal. And I'm going to get 0.3. So what is a percent increase? Now remember, you got to say it as a percent. So you got to move this over twice. 1, placeholder. 2, the answer is 30% increase. After a 20% discount, a pair of shoes costs 56. What's the original price? Okay, so now I don't know the original. So if I go back here and I look at this, the original is the part I don't know. So that's going to be my X, okay? And now I'm going to do a discount, so I'm going to minus, but I'm going to minus 20%, 0.2, times the original. Well, what's the original? X, and that's going to cost me 56. Okay, so that's the final. So again, if you take a look at the formula, we don't know the original. We're going to subtract 20% of that original, whatever that original is. And when it's all said and done, it's $56. Okay, well, how do we deal with that? Well, what's x minus 0.2? Well, that's like a 1. Well, what's 1 minus 0.2? And the answer is it's 0.8x equals 56. What is this doing there? How do I get rid of that? It's bugging me. Oh, well, no big deal. So what I'm going to do is, yay, I got rid of it. Divide by 0.8. X equals whatever that is. And that's going to be 56 divided by 0.8 is going to be a 70. So the original price was 70. So it was $70, and at 20% off, it ended up at $56. That makes sense. Number 4, store raises the price of a bicycle from $250 to $300. What's a percent increase? Original is $250. The final is $300. Okay, it increased by what percent? I don't know. That's the X. But remember, it's not just X, it's whatever X is times the original. That's the part that I don't want you to miss. Okay, so now once I subtract 250 from both sides, I just get 250x equals 50. And once I do all my handy dandy math on this, x equals, well, that's just going to be 1/5, and I know that that's going to be 20%. Okay, sorry if I jumped there. 1 divided by 5 is 0.2. Okay, so once you get 1 divided, or if you just plug your calculator, 50 divided by 250, you're going to get 0.2 as an answer. But we have to express it as a percent, and 0.2 is going to be 20%. All right? A phone battery decreases from 100% to 65. It started at 100 and it ended up at 65. What is a percent decrease? I don't know, but we're going to subtract whatever that percent decrease is times the original, and that's what we end up getting. So I'm going to subtract 100 from both sides. Boom, die. Negative 100x is going to equal negative 35. And when I do all that, what do I get there? Do you guys know? You know. That is going to be a, whoops. We're going to go 35 divided by 100. And that is going to be, of course, a 35%. Well, it's going to be 0.35. And it wants to know the percent decrease, which is going to be 35%. Sorry, I didn't mean to get ahead there. Boom. After a 15% increase, a salary is 46%. So what is the original? I don't know the original. So my original is X. I'm going to have an increase. So I'm going to add 15% of that original. So 0.15x. And when it's all said and done, I'm left with $46,000. I hope that helped you to be able to read this problem. Now, once you do this, what is 1x plus 0.15x? That's 1.15x equals 46,000. Now, if I divide everything by 1.15, I'm going to put in my calculator 46,000 divided by 1.15, and you're going to get $40,000. So once this person got an increase, they started at 40,000, 15% increase. Hey, they're at 46. That's kind of cool. Number 7, I've got 2 more here. After a 25% discount, a television costs $450. What's the original price? Okay, well, I know my ending is 450, so in my equation, everything's going to equal 450. I don't know the original, though, so my original is my X. I'm going to discount by 0.25 whatever the original was. Now, that's going to end up becoming a 0.75x equals 450. And once you divide everybody by a 0.75, plug that in your handy-dandy calculator, 450 divided by 0.75, and you are going to get $600 is the original price before you took off a quarter of the price. Okay? Well, think about it. What's a quarter of 600? The 600 divided by 4, which is 150 bucks. Take off 150 bucks of 600, what do you get? you get 450. So you can always do some sanity checks at the end. After a 10% increase, a savings account balance is 550. What was the original? Well, 550 is the balance. Here's the original. I'm going to add 10% of the original. Point one. I'll leave it there. Because remember, 10% is just 0.1. That's going to equal that. So 1.1x, I'm just putting these together. That's a 1x, remember, equals 550. And when I divide this by 1.1, oops, sorry, 1.1. So 550 divided by 1.1 is going to be a $500. Was the original before you made your 10% interest. Okay? So I hope this gave you sort of a process of how to do it. We do have an answer key there. I have had some problems with answer keys. Let me make sure they're all good. Blah, 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 blah. They all look really good. Okay. So there's version A. I hope that helped you. If not, go ahead and go to version B and I will meet you there and I'll help you through that as well. Take care.